Welcome to another episode of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're sitting at episode 135. We're going to be recapping the UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Topuria, which overall was full of heaters. I mean, there was like literal debates on Twitter over what fight of the night should be, and I mean, everybody had a case. I think there was three fights.
I was going to say, I think there's three fights that could make an argument or a stake for it. And I actually didn't I have the bonuses here. I didn't look up who got fight of the night. Oh, well, I don't agree with that necessarily.
Me neither. I think the one that got it, like the least deserving of all of them.
Agreed.
I'd rank that. I'd give that my bronze medal for
Me
sure.
too.
We'll get into it.
Wasn't really much of a fight.
We're back to the old format this week. Every fight, every card, we're back to it, and we're gonna start with the prelims. One of the only shows out there doing it, and because man, these prelims were fucking awesome, and the fact that 95% of these MMA shows don't even mention any of the prelim fights, and like, yeah, you could have that Colby Covington mentality of, oh, they're fighting on the prelims for a reason. But man, I mean, we beat this dead horse, but we've seen some of our favorite fighters come up on the prelims. You'll watch the next year's stars on the prelims. I mean, you'll see some of your favorite vets on the prelims. I don't know. It takes time, it takes effort, yes, but I never regret it. And these prelims, what I'm getting to here, these prelims were absolute gas.
Gassed up 8 fights. So for us to not say they were long is kind of a crazy thing. Now, granted, they were like long, but that's because they were packing the fights. So really, it wasn't a lot of time to get up and move in between. Like oftentimes, we'll get like a finish, right? And then we have to sit there for 20, 25 minutes waiting for the next fight to get kicked off and started. In this case, you were getting like 12-minute breaks when that was happening. And if it was a decision, wait for him to just run Megan Levy out there and start running a promo for the next guy.
Yeah, it's a real interesting, situation here where, like, would you rather have 8 fights or like 6 fights with the more commercials and more lead up? I mean,
Yeah, the commercials I don't love, but also I will say, like, there are some guys that are on this card fighting don't deserve to be in the UFC at this point in their career, right? And the reason I say it like that is because that's the first guy we're going to talk about. Cody Brundage.
You can let me off the leash, bro. Let me off the leash.
Minus 170, I do believe. Fighting Cedric Dumas, plus 145.
Way to church it up a little bit. But I mean, honestly, this was one of my most bullish picks of the week because Cody Brundage, if he can do anything well, it's like wrestling, right? He's not the most exciting guy to watch.
It's all he can
do. Exactly. He's a pretty strong guy, pretty big guy, pretty decent wrestling. It's about where the nice thing to say about him in. But Dricus Dumas showed some of the worst takedown defense, some of the worst grappling from bottom, some of the worst ability to return to your feet we've ever seen in the UFC octagon, and I'm not using hyperbole. The last time we saw Cedricus Dumas fight, I believe our takeaway was like, oh, yeah, this guy's not UFC caliber. Like,
absolutely
he's a decent striker, crazy physique, plus athlete, but zero grappling or counter wrestling, like, at all. So we put Brundage on our parlay, and that's really not why we're salty. I know we sound like some salty bettors here. We lose bets all the time. Doesn't make us dislike fighters. But, like, when we saw Brundage, it's almost like Brundage bet on Dumas. I mean, I know that's a heavy accusation, and I say it tongue in cheek, but he was giving positions away. Like,
I mean, literally,
handing him on a silver platter to the worst grappler in the division, at least before.
In his fighter interviews, he was saying, yeah, I messed up my last 2 fights by trying to pull for guillotines when I shouldn't. What is he do? He did it 3 times in this fight. Every time it didn't work. The last one was close. But every time it didn't work. Like, what was he do? I don't understand why. It's like his arms, he wouldn't sink it. His position was so bad. He was like rocking his chest back, and it's like, keep your chest there, like, keep your arms close, and make him pull back, and then cradle backwards.
Like, there was multiple things to hate about these guillotine attempts. The first one was the fact that he was jumping guillotine when he has the wrestling advantage.
He was literally getting a takedown. In the process of getting a takedown, and the guy's getting up and he just jumps guillotine instead of chain wrestling into the takedown. When you know he could chain wrestle, they said he was 53-6 or 56-3 his senior year of wrestling in high school, and then did it in college.
We've seen him do it in the UFC too.
Right.
Like, yeah, and so, like I said, before last night, Cedricus Dumas had the worst counter wrestling and grappling in the middleweight division. Like, I think that was not like, I think that's a fair statement to make. And so for Brundage to keep jumping Gilly, like, all right, try it once, pull a rabbit out of the hat, it doesn't work. keep it pushing, whatever. We
Right,
won't
because he
hold it
lost a
against
round
him.
doing it first round
Yeah,
he loses
well,
doing that.
each time he did it, he never got back up off his back.
That's what I'm saying.
So he would jump Gilly
so if
and then
you're
would be on his back for the rest of the round.
in close
Every
guard,
time.
not trying to get up. It was
Yes,
the most frustrating mental visual I've ever seen because it was like he wasn't actually trying to win the fight. He was just trying to like go 15 minutes and get paid. Like it didn't make sense.
So we used to have a verb on this show called ige. Like when a fighter made a terrible fight IQ decision, probably more than once, that cost him a fight. We used to call it ige-ing yourself in a fight. Just like Chael calls fumbling a post-fight interview, Sandhagen in the interview. Right. We had an ige in a fight. Ige's looked pretty damn good lately. I think it's now brandaging your fight. If you actively give away your fight, that makes no sense. It makes you want to rip your hair out. That is now brundaging a fight. It's no longer ige in a fight. It's now brundaging a fight. Yes, we bet on brundage. So, is there like a little salt mix in? But no, that parlay ends up not hitting anyway. So, this isn't even from a salty better perspective. This is from a, do better. This is from a, I'm not goddamn Saeed Sayouf over here, and I know that's, not the correct fight IQ decision. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, every fan, fucking 10-piece McGee and Buffalo Wild Wings was sitting there oh, God, why is you jumping Gilly? It was so obvious to the casual fan, the commentary team was all over it too. They were super frustrated.
He specifically told them he was aware it was a problem and then kept doing it. That's insanity. To admit that it's not going to work and to keep doing it, expecting it to work. That's literally insane.
So Cedricus Dumas gets a big win here. He lost his debut. He looked great on the Contender Series. So he's 1-1 in the UFC. He needed this win bad because they said he looked bad in his last performance and he looked like he wasn't ready.
Credit to him. He improved his skill set too. Clearly
he did.
He could defend the first
his
few
ability
takedowns.
to stay on top.
Right.
He defend takedowns. You're right. He did.
Because really, Brundage is fresh in the first 2.5, 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Say what you want, but you're getting the best version of him in at least that first 2 minutes.
No, for sure. 1,000% agree. And I don't know what judge gave to Brundage. He can fuck off. Seriously.
Round three to Brundage. Cologne, I'm looking at. Yeah, I had to look it up too. I was like, no fucking way.
That's ridiculous. Cedricus Dumas 30-27 all day.
Right.
Twice on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's ridiculous.
Now, was Brundage's best round third? Sure, but it wasn't better than Dumas's third.
No, and he didn't do anything offensive. I completely disagree with that. A big win for Dumas, and I don't know, man. Dumas did show an improved skill set. So, we spent most of the time talking about Brundage, but it's hard. I still don't think that Cedricus Dumas is out here he's gotten better, but I don't think he's going to be out here having 10 minutes of top control in any other fight in his UFC career. I honestly will say that. Even if he goes on to have a long and successful UFC career, I don't think it may have been 13 minutes of control time he had in this fight. I don't know, man. Brundage fumbled this one.
11 minutes.
That slights
11 minutes control time.
Slights Dumas, it's really not meant to, but Brundage handed him this on a silver platter, and he didn't fumble it, right?
Well,
good on Dumas.
That's what I was gonna say. If nothing else, he deserves Brundage's roster spot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If one has to go, it's for sure Brundage. This was a loser leaves town fight. This really was. Brundage 0-2, now 0-3, and looked like dog shit every time. Cedric Dumas looked terrible in his first fight. So, you know what I mean? It was really a loser leaves town fight.
Which, keep an eye on UFC roster watch, because you might see Cody Brundage coming across the ESPN ticker, because I don't think he's shown his only claim to fame or whatever. He hung his hat on his wrestling, and he got out wrestled by the worst wrestler in the division. So it's I'm sorry, man. I'm not the one making these decisions, but as a UFC fan, unless you're specifically trotting him out there as lion food for somebody some Dagestani debutant.
He could be fun fodder.
That's all I see at this point. Seriously, sorry about it, but we'll keep it pushing here. We got.
Did you bring your mask and your gun? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Ski mask out, folks. We have a robbery, and we've been kind of cooling it on the robbery takes lately. High Car France was pretty bad. I'm sticking my chest out.
This is
you watched it. This is bad. This is bad. No, the robbery helps us. We had Jack Jenkins as the second leg on our parlay that was already busted thanks to Brendan. So really, who gives a shit? But I mean, so this is one of those ones where the robbery, we come out smelling like roses here. But like, goddamn it, Emmers performed phenomenally. Like, he performed so well that going into this fight, we picked against him as an underdog. We're like, oh yeah, we love us some Jenkins. But bro, like Emmers, like his skill set,
and if you look at his fight history too, his topology, it's pretty solid, man.
Yeah, he's fought dogs for sure.
Right, like he's fought a lot of dogs. He's fought for a long time too. I thought he was a lot younger than he was, or is rather.
His movement, it like jumps off the screen. He's like a little water bug. Like he's just so light on his feet. So long. No, and Jack Jenkins famously has broken like 3 people's legs with calf kicks, has one of the gnarliest calf kicks in all of mixed martial arts. Like, still, I mean, hats off to you. This fight was awesome. It's not to say that it wasn't competitive. That being said, I only have the word close in my notes for the first round. I thought rounds 2 and 3 had a clear winner. And that winner was not the guy who won the fight.
So I thought round 1 was definitely the closest. I thought 2 was more of a war, but it wasn't as close. And then I thought 3 was a clear winner.
Yeah, man, we got to dive into it. Emmers was a -205 favorite. Jack Jenkins +175. Let me see. I think we got him at +175 too.
I mean, that's
we like
big
Jenkins
time.
as a show.
And that's big time.
Yeah, because I mean, our logic was that, like, you know, he's fighting a striker. He has like the deadliest like special move cap kick in the fucking game. He's going to have opportunity to land it. He's going to set up other offense, and really, all that kind of did come true. Like, Emmers ate those calf kicks better than we've ever seen anybody eat them.
Dog.
Yeah, absolute dog. And yeah, round 1 was really close. I mean, you know, really, it was Jenkins with his signature leg kicks, but I think he had kind of we see these prospects have these moments where like all the stuff that gets other guys out of there isn't getting the guy standing in front of them out of there, and they're kind of like, oh shit. And Jack Jenkins, he hit it well, but because round 1, he did what he did in all of his other fights that have led to success. But Emmers, I still gave the round to Emmers because Emmers was able to, for every calf kick, he'd land a pretty slick-ass body kick. Loved his body kicks in 1. The movement, the speed, the length, he was managing the distance. He was getting the jab off. Probably won, like, the boxing exchanges. I said I was a big fan of those body kicks. Jenkins' calf kicks were nice, but that's about all there was, right? I mean,
yeah, I thought Jenkins got out ahead early in the round, and then Emmers continued to close that gap until eventually I thought he overtook him. I think he ended the round on top. No, that's round 2. But in round 1, I mean, the movement started.
Round 1 was competitive.
Yeah,
like if he was also able to dodge. Jenkins,
he was also able to start dodging the leg kicks a little more toward the end of the round too. You could tell that movement game plan was frustrating Jenkins' leg kick. He was landing good body kicks though too.
Round 1 was competitive. Like, I really don't think you're like a crazy person, piece of shit, if you gave Jack Jenkins round 1. That being said, any other rounds you give to him, might have to have a little conversation because, you know, turn over your ski mask and your handgun. Because I mean, I thought rounds 2 and 3 go to Emmers. Was a war, you know, both had success, but man, like Emmers, the boxing to the body and the head was so effective, so accurate, so much of it. I mean, he reversed Jenkins' takedown and ends the round on top. Jenkins had some success. He won a couple exchanges, had a little success, but I mean, Emmers won round 2, bro. Like, I'll stick my chest out and say it. Like, I'll die on that hill, roll it out, whatever you want to say. Like,
all right. So that's exactly how I feel. Is that Emmers just cumulatively did more damage? I mean, outright. I think that is. I don't think you can even argue that. I also think that ending the round on top with to end the round on top, great visual, and I mean, yeah, Emmers' nose was bleeding, but like I said, I thought visually and actual damage, he won the round. And, like, I don't know.
Me too.
There wasn't a whole lot of control. You know what I mean? Between
that body work was nice. But I'm also a body work mark. I mean, I've always talked, like, when a guy's able to get the boxing off to the body, it's a thing of fucking beauty. But Emmers was getting it off, man. But so what did judges give round 2 to Jenkins?
Both Both judges, Christopher Lee and Saul D'Amato, gave rounds 1 and 2 to Jack Jenkins, where Troy Winkapaw gave both rounds to Jamal Emmers. And then in the final round, all three judges would finally
1 and 2 to Jenkins is wild, bro.
That's like, both judges.
1 and 2 is wild. He said,
1,
I'll hear you out.
I gotcha. Fine. You love leg kicks. All good. I respect them too. Round 2, what the fuck?
Especially for both. Like for both, like that's right. Like what kind of Jenkins colored glasses are you wearing, man?
Hey, Dana put the whisper in their ear. This kid's young. This guy is old. Get him out.
Right. Man, and then round 3, Emmers, man, got the takedown. And then that reversal hit. You're the wrestler here. Can you explain that? Because seemingly he just like Derek Lewis, like caveman, like, all right, well, I was on bottom, so I wanted to get on top, and I just kind of, like...
Effectively, that is what it... Like, it wasn't a whole lot of technique. It was like... I mean, DC even was saying, right? Yeah, that it was just like... He's just so explosive that he literally moved out of the position, and, like, Jenkins pretty much fell into the position not thinking he was going to get out of it. That explosive.
I don't remember seeing something like that. Like, I really don't. Like,
it's crazy, too, because how old is Emmers?
I got it pulled up right here. He is... 33, so not that old. Really in his prime.
You kind of start to see some explosive... I mean, running backs are done at 28. Now, I know that's a lot of miles that they take hits-wise. But, like, he is kind of getting to that later stage, I'd say, at featherweight of athleticism. Probably still has 2 or 3 good years.
Between, like, yeah, exactly. I think, like, 32 to 35, probably. Like, you get 36, it gets a little...
I think for fighting, the prime is definitely later too, because the mental game of it is so mental. Deep. Yeah. So it's such a chess match, man.
And you get like less emotional as you get older. I noticed that in myself, like just as a human, like so, like I think all that goes into it. One of the sweetest fucking reversals, and like I don't know if you call it a sweet, but like he was on bottom. It was like I think I'd rather be on top, man. Like it was sick. It was so sick. So did any judge give round 3 to Jenkins?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing is, if they know Emmers won 3, why do you think he lost 2?
Yeah, I honestly kind of like this 2 more than 3. You could argue. I mean, he got more damage off in 2 than
I was gonna say he did the most damage of the fight in round 2 for sure.
So 2 judges give that fight to Jenkins in a split decision. And, I mean, we had him on our parlay. But that's how you know it's a robbery, when you're, like, rooting against your own parlay.
Oh, yeah. Michael texted me outside of it and was like, he literally was like, how did you score that fight? And I was like, not for Jenkins, exclamation point. And he was like, Jesus Christ, me either. What a robbery. And I was like, yeah, but for the parlay. He was like, I mean, happy for us.
See, and Emmers is like the anti-Chris Curtis. He was, I'm going to fumble it if I try to quote it exactly, but he was like taking this shit in strides. He was like, man, I'm not about to sit up here crying about a robbery. He was saying some shit like, kids are born without parents, and, there's somebody sitting in jail that didn't do the crime. He got deep with it. But I'm saying, like, I'll take that over like some Chris Curtis shit any day.
Yeah, Chris Curtis just cries and cries and cries. Crying Chris. Action, but Chris. I don't know.
Emmers' like reaction to this robbery, I thought, like I said, he took it a little far, got a little dramatic, but like I don't know, I kind of like the like overall broad stroke like mentality of like he's like not shaken by it. He's like, yeah, man, shit happens, like keep it pushing. Like I don't know, pretty gangster about it. I feel like I'm crying about it more than he is, which is kind of how it should be. If it's a robbery, like in my opinion, let them pundits, the media, the fans. Let them kind of argue your case for you. And if nobody is, hey, it probably wasn't that bad of a robbery.
Well, you might have behind the curtains, like talked to Dana, and Dana was like, hey, man, you didn't lose that fight. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna move you up, like, as far as, like, who you're gonna fucking fight next. Or, like, I'm gonna give you your win bonus. I've heard of doing bonus, that.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah,
right, which is like, happens. Sheesh. If you get that behind the, like, what do you know what I'm saying?
It makes it a little easier. Because
he's like, it's lost my record, but also I made all the money that I could make, so like, it could be worse.
And it was a great fight. It was entertaining for the fans. You know what I mean? I think both of these guys will be
I'm gonna remember Jamal Emmers positively the next time he fights. I'm probably gonna bet on him if it's like good odds.
Me too. That's what I'm saying. Like my perspective. Like he gained a lot of stock in my book. Like I viewed him as kind of a run of the mill, like whatever roster filler guy. But like, no, this guy's got some like high-end movement, high-end striking, long build. I mean, obviously some good counter wrestling and jiu-jitsu too. That like is explosive. Like Oh no, bro. Like the guy a lot, man. And I
definitely
still like Jenkins. Jenkins is so young in his career. Like he'll be just fine. I mean, he's 2-0 in the UFC now. Kind of fugazi, but I mean, he has a skill set. He's a dog. Like
it's kind of the thing though, is like where they're at in their careers. I kind of like where both of them are at. Like Emmers has enough dog in him and the right perspective and skill set where like he could really put together a nice little hot streak and like make a climb.
He could.
That's definitely on the table. Jenkins is so young. I just know it's a bright future for him. So kind of
For sure.
stock up in both guys, which is a weird thing to say on a fight that I wholly disagree with, and it was a robbery.
Yeah, but it was an awesome fight.
But that's the judge's fault, not the fighter's fault.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Both fighters performed well. And we'll keep it pushing, man. We got another exciting one, man. Trevor Peek versus Chepe Mariscal. And we got Trevor Peek technically undefeated. I think there's a no contest in there, minus 130, with the wildest fight style we've ever maybe seen. I mean, not ever, but like since the UFC became like an actual like competitive architecture and not just some kind of sideshow. It's been.
Hold on, I gotta grab a beer to talk about Trevor Peek. I gotta be fair to this country boy.
Yeah, for sure, man. Minus 130 favorite. Taking on Chepe Mariscal, making his debut at plus 110. And I didn't know a lot about Chepe Mariscal, but shout out to Michael in our group chat. He was saying that this guy Chepe Mariscal was a dog. And Trevor Peek's the definition of a dog. But Trevor Peek has a lot of holes in his game. Has a really wild
he does have a lot of holes in his game. Like striking defense. Takedown defense.
Yes.
Well, takedown defense, okay, I guess, because Chepe did shoot 12 times and only got 4 of them. But
it's like all athleticism.
Right. It's not technical defense. Exactly right. Yeah, he's athletic and he's strong. And he swings big. He's tough.
Yeah, he's a psychopath. I think that's what you can't underrate. Like that's his special power. Like seriously.
It's a super weird special. You know, like most guys don't have this. I'm psychotic.
Like he's so psychotic that like I don't think he has great cardio, but he like never gets tired. He's like gassed and has great cardio, like all at the same time. Like he was like putting his hands on the fence and breathing, but then would throw an absolute piss missile. Like
right.
Like he was like tired, but like not like
his brain wouldn't let him acknowledge the tired in the moment.
Absolute psycho, absolute like Jason Voorhees.
You know what it reminds me of is Anthony Smith. I listened to an interview with him where he was talking about power slap, and he got to go backstage and talk to some of the slappers. I don't call them fighters. I would never. And he was like, "Are you guys like nervous?" And like he said, every one of them was like, "Hell no! Why would I be nervous? This is awesome." Like they were like stoked, and he was like, "Those are real psychos."
Yeah,
he's like, people say fighters are crazy for fighting. He's like, those are real psychos when I talk to.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna stick my chest out here a little bit on this one. Shout out to Michael, he tipped me in the final, but like, I was at the sports book. I had like $5 left on my little like account, and I was like, I was looking, scrolling for value, a little plus bet to throw it on, and I was debating if I wanted to go like over on Robertson Ricci. Or if I want, or like, I don't know, I had a couple over-unders I was kind of debating around. Too. And then, this was set at 1.5, which you hardly ever get in a 3-round fight, especially if it's not heavyweight. So welterweight's at 1.5, and the over was plus 135. And so shout out to Michael for, leading me in that direction. But I did a little bet on it, and because like, the thing is, Trevor Peek, I was like, I understand why Vegas had that money line because he's like, oh, so he can knock people out. The guy he's fighting has a lot of power, can knock people out. But I don't know, it's a good matchup. So like a good matchup
kind of nullifies those knockouts.
Yeah,
that's how
for sure.
About the main event.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. Yeah, no, that's a great call on that one for sure. And then, but yeah, this fight taking place in the lightweight division. Mariscal making his debut. And this fight was fucking awesome. I mean, this was an action movie. Like, it literally, like, looks like an MMA fight from a movie because it was, like, so, like...
It was, like, cars crashing, too, whenever they would connect.
Yes.
It was great.
And then you throw in Peek's wonky style and, like, terrible defense. And, like, if you were watching some MMA movie, you'd be like, oh, this isn't even realistic.
Right, like there's no way. Like, they're just, like, winging blows and landing shots, recovering and winging back blows. Like, no way. It's like...
And taking breathers on the side of the octagon.
Yeah, like, just like... And then just stalking back over, and it's insane.
Absolutely insane. I honestly, bro, like Chin of the year candidate for sure, right? Like
What is
1,000%.
Chin?
Chin of the year.
Well, someone already won that. And this card is the winner. Like, not this card, but you know who on this card won that.
Yeah.
This could be
you're
nominated.
right.
That's fine. But we know who won.
Yeah, you're probably right there. But I mean, did you give Peak any rounds?
Hell no.
No, me neither. But like,
I liked what he was doing. It just wasn't like consistent enough. There wasn't enough duration. Like I thought Chepe was able to answer well. He was able to kind of press him when he needed to, and limit his damage more. Also,
1,000%. Like it was like Chepe's defense. Like their offense was like relatively equal. Like they're. I think in every round, Peak landed at least one shot that would like drop a horse. But shout out to Mariscal's chin, and he just did overall more work and got out of the way. It had better, like higher accuracy rate. And his when Mariscal would land a big shot, it would be like a well timed like step in,
a technical shot.
Yes, like an accurate, like kind of like Izzy power, where it was like when Peak would land a big shot, it was literally like back alley behind the bar, just from the hip, like crazy red.
I will say, I bet that's hard to fight against for fighters like a guy like Peak, because like he's going to do nothing that is technically correct, and he's still going to have a lot of power, and he has a crazy chin. So even when you're connecting on him, you're still in a lot of danger of getting flash KO'd.
Same thing, man. That's why I was saying Peak chin of the year nominee. Like Mariscal landed, we said Peak landed one bomb per round, like. Mariscal probably landed 3 to 4 shots per round that dropped like 90% of lightweights.
Got
like,
0 knockdowns. Insane. Probably cracked him hard enough like 10 times.
It literally, he landed shots that was like when you're at the like little arcade and you're trying to like hit the little power bag, like just like step in as hard and clean as you can humanly land, and Peak would just eat it and just. It's wild watching
there's something about
fight.
being dumb where your brain just doesn't get KO'd the same. And it's horrible to say, but I think it's the truth.
Maybe uncovered something there, man. But I don't know, man. Bryce Mitchell might have something to say about that. But like,
yeah, he might be a little smarter than he lets on, but the flat Earth is misleading.
But yeah, man, Mariscal gets the impressive debut win. I mean, plus 110. My over bet hits, which is what gets me in the green. Thank God. But like, I mean, people were online arguing that this should have been fight of the night. It was my second place fight of the night. I still think this was better than the fight that won it, as far as like back and forth.
Yeah,
more competitive.
Yeah.
So you agree with that?
I'm trying to think about which. Yeah, that's honestly, this one's probably my fight of the night. I'm going back and forth, but since this one gets the full distance for me, well, actually, let's get to it. Let's get to it. But I mean, I'm interested to see what your next candidate is, because I
bonus on this one, which is. I don't know. I think at least Mariscal, if you're not going to get a fight of the night, if that's not a performance of the night, I don't know what is. But I guess we'll keep it pushing. I don't know. I like Mariscal a lot, though. I mean, that's a hell of a debut.
Hey,
the guy's
honestly,
an absolute
for
stat.
him, it's probably.
But shout out to Michael.
For him, it's probably shout out to Michael in the research, because he is a dog. But
it
is one of those things where, man, he's probably locked up a UFC contract, like another, like regardless if he loses his next fight or not, if he still looks good, they'll probably give him another. If he loses, probably a 2-fight deal. If he wins his next one, 4-fight deal. Like he is carving his way into the UFC.
Oh, I think he's the level. No doubt.
Too.
No doubt.
But who do they make him fight next? Like the UFC does insidious things at times.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but I think he's UFC caliber for sure. Which, like Trevor Peak shouldn't be UFC caliber, but he's just such like a freak, psycho human being athlete that like, sure. I mean, that doesn't work. Like 99 times out of 100, that's not enough to make it in the UFC. Like Trevor Peak, like kind of makes it work. I mean, now granted, he got 30-27, so you could argue like, did he? But I think we all know what I'm saying.
He literally is in the UFC for chin and power and nothing else. Not technique.
No.
Just literal ability to like swing hard and ability to not get knocked out. Like those two things have made his way into the UFC. He's pretty athletic too. Like I'm not gonna take that from him.
Yeah.
But outside of those three things, like power, athleticism, and chin, he really has no technical skills.
No, he fights like fucking like a Taffa brother. Like you know what I'm saying? Or like
Oh man, that was rough too. We'll get to that in the main
yeah,
card.
we'll get to that too. But yeah, we'll keep it pushing here. We got Zalga Gulov rocking the Patty to Batty cut at minus 205 favorite, taking on 21-year-old Joshua Van at plus 175 in the flyweight division. Nobody in our little group chat bet this fight. I just think that like Zalgis has a super salty record. Van's 21 years old. The number was kind of weird and kind of heavy for Zumagulov. And so I don't think any of us saw value in betting this fight. If anybody won money betting this fight, leave it in the comments below. Good on you. But as a show, this was a no bet for us.
Yeah, and this was one where like I had the weirdest gut feeling that I liked Zumagulov here until I literally woke up on the Saturday morning and I saw his haircut and I asked myself, why is he Middle Eastern Patty? I would never bet on him. So I'm super glad that I didn't just like run on like a bullish gut take.
And he even tried, like, granted, there's always a little bit of a language barrier, so you don't know if he's trolling or being serious or what, but he did have some quote, like, he literally did it because of Patty. He was saying that, like,
No way.
that essentially, like, is this what you like? Is this what I got to do to, like, be
Oh
famous
my
and get big fights?
god.
Like, so he said with the language barrier, it's hard to tell if he's trolling, being serious, if he's, like, actually trying to market. Like, I really don't like fully like understand his exact perspective, but he did mention Patty like in some quote or interview. So
Do you know that? Well, I mean, we're gonna have to talk about how he scored this fight, but I just want to put in perspective. His last 3 fights have all been split decisions.
yeah, we get another split decision here for sure. And I thought, see, this is one where I thought round one was pretty close. I think this all comes down to how you score round one, and I could be wrong here, but I thought round one was the only round that I really had a hard time scoring. Um, I gave it to Zumagulov. I thought the volume, the pressure, he got to see. He was like getting like sick takedowns, but then Van would like immediately bounce up so they don't get like scored as takedowns. And maybe I shouldn't score them, but like it still counts as like success, right? Like you're winning a position. I don't
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
like
forcing a guy to be where he doesn't want to be or be on his back foot defending rather than being able to be offensive. Sure, yeah, I agree with that.
and then and then you definitely don't score that for Van. Like I mean, it's good on you, and it's like put this on the technique, like teaching tape of how you get up after a takedown, but you don't get points for it. So
Right.
I don't know. I still scored that type of like those encounters. You can't call them takedowns, but those little engagements as for like a good thing for Zumagulov. Now, Van, he got to his feet immediately, and he probably, you could argue, had landed the cleaner shots throughout the round, but just less of them, and he was on his back foot. I don't know. How'd you score it?
So I scored it to Zumagulov as well. I mean, I thought it was competitive. I didn't necessarily think it was too close. I was pretty much riding Zumagulov in the round. I thought he kind of got ahead by the halfway point and then maintained that across the finish of the round. So I liked him. I liked what he was doing. I know that it wasn't like the most damage, but it was limiting Van massively. I mean, he was just trying to fight back most of the time rather than fight forward. So I thought that gave Zumagulov the pressure, the control. So I scored round one to him. But however, I will say I thought rounds 1 and 2 were pretty easy to score. I thought round 3 was the murkiest.
Oh, see, I disagree. I thought round one was the murkiest. But I'm dying to see how you scored round two, because I do think like 10-8 is on the table, and I'm anxious to hear like if you had any 10-8.
So I didn't go 10-8 here, but I really thought in my head I could see a judge going 10-8 here. We're in Florida. They're a little wild with the scorecards. Like literally, they have some judges that are known for being like loose with the scorecards in Florida. So I was thinking,
I completely agree with everything you said. Like, I didn't have scored a 10-8, but it was like
it was damn close.
You like asked the question. It made
like
me
that
ask the question.
8.9.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I'm real close to this 8.
Well, and it pretty much was a 10-8 until like the last minute of the round, and Zumagulov found a decent amount of success. And it was like, all right, well, clearly he's not hurt too bad. Clearly
he was a dog about it though, because he was getting like beat up for a good part of 3.5 minutes.
Yes, exactly. And like the last minute of the round, Zumagulov kind of got that point back. Is kind of how I viewed it in my mind. Like, now he was well on his way to getting 10-8.
Yeah. Essentially, he earned his way back to a 10-9, which we've talked about a few times before. But like, and it sounds weird phrasing, but that's definitely the case.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't think you can, and I think we'll get to it in the main event too. Like, I don't think you can, like, if you're having success and like landing big dangerous shots, like, did you get 10-8? I don't know. So we'll get to the debate in the main event. I think that becomes like a big talking point in that main event, but we'll get there
Oh yeah.
obviously. And then round three, I thought. See, you said it was the hardest round to score. I thought round three is the easiest round to score. Man, it's Van all day for me, man. Like all day, twice on Sunday, man. I Van 10-9 round three. Like I thought, like pretty like I don't know what. It sounds like you got a little argument for me. Lawyer it up. The stand is yours. Good set.
I scored it to Van as well.
Okay.
I just thought Zumagulov was actually being able to fight back way more effectively on the feet than he had been. Maybe it was like watching him get his ass beat so hard in the second round and to watch him like recover and do so well that I was like, oh man, he did pretty good this round. But that might have been like the perspective of like, I don't know how he got out of the second round.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had a better third round than second round. So, I mean, that's essentially what you're saying there, and I agree with that statement. Like, it just
That's what I'm saying is that like,
didn't come close to winning the round.
well, I thought, yeah, and I thought in one, like Van just had so little that he offered, like offensively.
See, I thought you could argue the damage battle for Van in one. Like, I think you could lawyer. I mean, it'd be pretty lawyer ball, but like, I thought he landed the hardest, cleanest shots of the round. If you made a highlight of round one, it would be pretty much Van getting up to his feet.
He was definitely landing cleaner. Definitely landing cleaner.
Yeah.
I'll definitely cede that, and I would also cede that he might have like 55-45 damage split, right? If we're gonna like do percentages.
Yeah.
But I think the like octagon control from Zumagulov throughout that round is just what kind of gives him that round.
And
I know that's a weird tertiary metric, but like he was, it's like not real control. It's that pseudo control that we talk about.
I feel everything you're saying there. So I don't know. I thought Van won this. I thought it was I don't know.
I thought the right man won.
He a split. The right man won. Van won the fight. It was also his debut. He broke records too. Like we got to keep our eye on this guy. What was it? Most strikes landed in a UFC debut. I think any weight class, or was it just flyweight? I forget. But
any weight class, because he landed 120, and usually guys in a debut either like get a finish or get finished if they're really good or really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like to set records, usually you're really good, so you're starching out your first fight.
And then he got second most strikes landed in a flyweight history period. Like not even just debuts. So he had like one record for debutantes and a second place for all his whole division in his debut at 21 years old. Like this kid is like a prodigy.
Yeah,
and Zumagulov's a tough debut.
That's more what I was thinking was that Zumagulov is a tough debut. Now this is obviously the fight where they cut Zumagulov. The hair is just like a slap in the face to gimmicky to being a gimmick. I mean 14-9,
so
tough guy, but 2-7 in the UFC, I believe. So
yeah, and they've all been close. Like the vast majority of them have been close.
Oh, I mean, when he loses, besides Kopp, it's a decision. He's 1-6 in the UFC now, but he's lost to Amir Albazi by decision, Halian Paiva by decision, Jeff Molina by split, Charles Johnson by split, Joshua Van by split. He submitted Jerome Rivera in the first round of that fight, and then he lost to Manel Kopp by KO in the first round of their fight. So it's like... It's a
man.
tough...
I honestly wish he was cut earlier so he could have been on this season of Tough with the vets, because he's like that level where like you're right. He probably does deserve to get cut. He probably will get cut, but like I could see him making his way back. And like it's honestly, like I said, it's kind of he would have been a perfect candidate for this season of Tough of like guys just like him that are like showed promise, have a good skill set, are good, but just lost too much to still be in the UFC. That's like the exact mold of this season of Tough vets.
And he has wins in his career against Tyson Nam, Tagir Umbekov, and Ali Bagatinov before he made it to the UFC. So it's just like, dude's clearly good, but it's like he hasn't really gotten much better, I think is the problem. Like I think he's hit a skill cap. So I think he's a regional champ and a UFC like back ender. And I just think like that's where he's perpetually at.
Fair, man, and we'll keep it pushing, man, because this next fight, like I honestly thought this next fight should have been on the main card.
Yeah, I
Jillian
wonder how it
Robertson
was.
versus Tabitha Ricci. Like I'm not even trying to like overhype it. Like this is a fight that I've had circled for like weeks now, mainly because Jillian Robertson was on Joe Rogan a few weeks ago. So I was like, oh, who's she fighting?
She
Oh,
talked me
Ricci.
she talked me into just feeling good about her.
No, when I was watching that episode, I was like, oh, she's about to go out there and
I was like,
murk.
damn, she
But
can get a choke without the hooks. Like, I might need to take this sub bet every time.
no, I feel you. It was like Robertson propaganda if you watched the Rogan episode. But
God
like,
damn it,
granted,
man.
I got lucky that I watched it like a couple weeks ago, so I had some time to like let my brain air out and like reevaluate.
I
We're
just
super
listened to
high
it
on
this
Ricci
week.
too. Yeah, that recency bias.
Sometimes I
But
save
yeah,
them, you know. And the Mike
no,
Perry
no,
one, I
I
don't know if
feel
you
you.
listen to that.
Not the whole thing yet.
That's a tough listen. He
See, I
is
started to, and it
really
was a tough
dumb. He
listen.
is really dumb.
Well, he's like
No
punchy,
less,
right?
no
He's like
less than
punchy.
8 times he looks up and goes, "What was I talking about?" Like, hey, bro, hey, we talked for an hour and 40 minutes, and you forgot 8 times what you were telling me about. Hey, man, we're done, right? Like, retire, please. Now, granted,
Punchy.
he's the champion of BKFC, so who am I to say retire? But he is so fucking punchy. It's scary, man. That's
He's
scary.
punchy.
But he accepts it too. He's like, yeah, this is what I do, man. I'm just like, God
Yeah.
damn it. Like, what a mentality. He's literally like, it just beat me up till I fucking die. I don't care. I'm just going to make money till I can't. And it's like,
Yeah.
what?
One of my favorite quotes, he was like, yeah, I just like want to buy more cool shit or like more cooler shit. I was like, dude, that's the most like that's like a 10 on the honesty level scale. He's like, I just want to buy more cooler shit.
Oh, dude,
And he
was
meant it
talking...
both ways, like more cool shit, but also like cooler shit. So he said more cooler shit.
More cooler
and I was like,
shit.
I understood exactly what he meant. I was like, hell yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
Do you know what one of the other great things he said before he dived into Jillian Robertson? Not to steal her shine, but like he also was talking about buying a new house, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I don't know. I thought I bought the thing. I tried to go in, and they said they're still closing. I said I got the money. Let me in, this motherfucker." I was like, "This bro doesn't understand how buying a home works. Like he's actually so dumb."
Man, I will say to have that mental ability and to be able to like succeed in life, it's like almost double clap. You know what I'm saying? Like he was behind the 8 ball.
It's actually crazy. That
Yeah,
like
like,
blows my mind that he's that dumb and can succeed that to that extent. Like, bro, I'm smarter than Mike Perry. I'm just gonna say it. Like, no offense, Mike Perry, but I don't work as hard as you. Just facts. Like,
that's
he
what I'm
works
saying. It's
hard
almost
as
like
fuck.
commendable. It's
Right.
almost like
shout
commendable.
out.
Like
yeah.
like he overcame. But yeah, man. Back to this strawweight bout. Ricci at the back end of strawweight, number 15, minus 135 favorite, plus 115 Robertson. Now I gotta say, I view this fight as like a toss-up coin flip. So if I was gonna bet it, it was gonna be probably Robertson, just on the pure like plus money, trying to squeeze some value. I couldn't really. I was torn on this fight all week. Like I really didn't have a bullish take.
Okay, and I agree with you. However, can I just say something that we seem to always forget? And after we watched it happen in live time, we both said, "Don't bet against this girl." When she went up 10 pounds and fought against Manon Fior, and held her own,
absolute savage,
bro. We gotta always tell ourselves Tabitha Ricci is actually so fucking good. So good.
Well, I never doubted her. Like I said, if I was gonna bet Robertson, it was purely to get the plus money. And Robertson, I mean, obviously, but what we got here, and this is like some like kind of cliche old school MMA takes, but I feel like it's really what we saw is like the elite grapplers, black belts, like neutralized each other. So then it was like a kickboxing match between grapplers, which I'm not gonna lie, wasn't the prettiest on the eyes. And I thought, I'll be real, I wasn't let down because it was a high level close fight. But like as somebody who's been looking forward to this fight for weeks, like it wasn't the most entertaining fight. It was a close fight. It was a competitive fight. It was a high level fight. It wasn't necessarily like a barn because, like I said, both girls was doing what they're second best at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. However, I will say I thought Ricci looked more fluid on the feet, which is kind of sad for Jillian Robertson because she's been in the UFC a long time. Dean Thomas is her coach. Like she's at a good gym. Like her striking just does not have fluidity to it. That being said,
no,
she finds holes and finds success with it. I'm not saying she doesn't land. It just
we'll
doesn't
see.
look good.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like that dangerous. I know what you're saying. Like the technique's gotten better, the timing's gotten better, the distance has gotten better, but it still just doesn't have that umph on it.
Right.
She's like the anti, like, they say, oh, this guy has God-given power. Like, she's like the opposite of that.
Well, it's like Connor's like so smooth with every shot he throws, right? Like or Adesanya, like he's always rolling and moving with every shot that he throws. Not when people throw at him. She's like blocky with it. Like you kind of like see her like load shots and like throw, and it's just not pretty. It's not fluid yet.
That being said, I mean, I thought the striking in round one was pretty much tit for tat even. But Ricci got 2 takedowns. No, she didn't really do shit with them, but I thought everything else was so even. Yeah, which was a weird move. Like it was like kind of like
Robertson's got a super dangerous guard. I think Ricci would have rather been underneath Robertson than.
Why take her down? I mean, it won her the round, so I guess maybe I'm answering my own question. Like,
because then
win points.
Well, and also like. Man, if we're fighting and I got a takedown on you, the next time I fake that shot, you're gonna sprawl back and I'm gonna throw a big uppercut. Like I'm gonna set up some more stuff off of it.
Fair enough, fair play. But I assume you had round one to Ricci as well.
I did, yeah, man, I did. I honestly, and crazy enough, I thought round one was like reasonably close. I guess I thought in round two she kind of set a lot more distance between her and Robertson. However, that's a pretty close round two. The reason I say that is because 2 judges here go Ricci in round one. 1 judge goes Robertson in round one, which I don't hate, but it's
not the craziest.
It's it's a little wild. But then in round two, 2 judges go Ricci again, but it's not the same 2 judges. 1 judge that scored 1 for Ricci scored 2 for Robertson.
That's a little weird. I'll be real. I'll be ahead of
it.
I gave 2 to Robertson. Did you
give 1 to Robertson?
No, I gave 1 to Ricci. I gave 1 to Ricci.
So what made you give her 2? The fact that she was holding her in that position and like was the one threatening the danger?
Well, that's the round she busted Ricci's nose, so I thought she won the damage battle. So we just described round one as everything was equal, but Ricci got 2 takedowns. Well, Ricci didn't get those takedowns in 2, and she got her nose busted. So I thought it was a very close round. The damage and she wasn't getting taken down. I don't know. It wasn't by a mile. I edged it out to Robertson.
It's interesting. I do have in my notes that I liked Robertson's damage a lot more in 2, but I still have it to Ricci, and it might just be like the eye test thing that I was talking about. Like I just almost enjoyed watching her fight more. That sounds shitty as far as scoring, but like it's not really though, right? Because like the damage is close. So I'm just saying, it
was a hard round to score.
It's almost like presentation.
My notes are like both are having success on feet. Like Ricci won a lot of exchanges. I
also thought Ricci's ability to keep it standing was important too, right? Like she could decide if they wanted to go to the ground, but then she could also decide to keep it on the feet. So like position control was always Ricci.
No, all fair points. And I thought round 3 was Ricci's best round. The volume, she was really stuffing Robertson's takedowns. She had better strike defense in round 3 than she did in round 2, in my opinion. And she really just got to put it all together in round 3. Like round 3 for Ricci, like really kind of like displaying her skill set. That I think she's pretty high level.
I think so too. I also think that for Robertson, I liked her mentality and approach to 3. She actually opened up and was like really, really going for it.
She really went for it.
But
it just made Ricci's defense look better.
I know, and what sucks in this case too is not having open scorecards. Like if Robertson can mimic rounds 1 and 2, she might be able to steal those rounds on the third round from the judges that had given her 1 and 2. Therefore, I think there's an argument that if she had kept fighting that style, it might have been more conducive if there were open scoring. So.
Yeah, man. And then as far as what's next for Ricci, I mean, I think anybody that's outside the top 10 is fair play. We'll get to, Hebus Barber later in the evening, but then Hebus is up at flyweight, so we'll see what all happens with Hebus. But I mean, you got Waterson Gomez at 12, but did she not retire? Or maybe I'm misremembering. Luana Pinheiro, sure. I think Hill or Waterson Gomez, as far as like giving her more big names and building her, I think one of those makes a lot of sense.
I agree with you, man. So with Ricci, I would definitely say, what was the rank of fucking? Oh wait, she was 15. She was the ranked girl. Okay, sorry, I had it backwards in my head. I had it backwards in my head that Robertson was 15. Jesus Christ. Man, I mean, we'll get to it, and I don't want to give it away, but if you look at who number 11 is, that's probably next. I don't want to give it away because it'll give away some spoilers for later. But I think that fight makes a whole lot of sense, and I think Tabitha Ricci's probably the favorite in that. Ooh, Tatiana Suarez is back. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she got a fight booked, I think, right? She's taking on Andrade, right? Is that who it is? Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, that'll be great. She's number 10. They put her. She got moved to number 15 in the women's pound for pound already.
Wow,
she's future champ. If you're asking me right now, like stamp it June 2023, future champ.
People have been saying that for a long time. Hopefully, she can put it all together. Seems like she's starting to. But yeah, we'll keep it pushing here to Mateusz. What is it, Ronbeski? That's how you say it.
Yeah, Ronbeski.
Who has a 17-1 record. I gotta admit, I didn't view him as a 17-1 guy when I saw his name on paper. Like, I should have done a little bit of research. Like that's not like a 8-0 Trevor Peak. Like 17-1 is legit.
It seems like all the Polish fighters that make it to the UFC are fucking so goddamn good. Besides Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, like every other Polish fighter I can think of is so fucking good.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And then he's taking on Loic Radzhabov. And this had Vegas missed this one, but as did I. We missed this one. Vegas missed this one. We have a close one.
I kind of missed it. I put a text in Saturday morning. I don't know if you remember seeing it, but I was like, if he defends takedowns, he dominates this fight.
Okay, fair play. Matchup taking place in the lightweight division. Radzhabov missed weight barely at 157. And, I actually gave round one to Radzhabov, but he had the damage, the pressure. He got a couple takedowns that he did a lot with the leg kicks. But, Ronbeski, I guess, was just kind of figuring it out, making his reads in round one.
I agree. I thought Ronbeski landed some good shots himself in round one and was able to continually fight his way back up to neutral positions.
No, you're not wrong.
I liked what he was doing. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I had it to Loic. Now, every judge had it to Ronbeski.
Round one?
Yeah. Very weird. When I saw that, I was like, that's kind of crazy because I thought Radzhabov definitely edged out the round, if not won it.
Yeah, me too. I don't even have the word close in my notes.
Right,
that's really wild.
Definitely thought it was a Radzhabov round.
The fact that it's all three.
Now, that being said, if you took the over, I don't know if over-under is 1.5 on this. I'm sure it was. You're a fucking asshole if you took the under. Because this finished at 2:36 of round two. So you missed it by 7 seconds, my friends. And if you took the over, you got blessed.
You got blessed, for sure. That's a tough one. That's a better, bad beat, as they say. Yeah, man. First, Ronbeski, he spent the whole first half of the round just destroying both legs. He destroyed the lead leg, calf, and then whenever Radzhabov had to switch stances, he destroyed that one, which left him pretty much just a sitting duck for the nuclear left straight.
Bro, he was literally standing on the fence to try to not get kicked anymore. It was like, you can't run. And he was like, well, I'll just lean here.
Yeah, it was, and then the brutal knockout.
Honestly, credit to Radzhabov's chin because he was getting fucking teed off on for 30 seconds before he got finished. If I had the under, I would have been screaming.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then, the toughness he showed with the legs. Absolute dog. I thought he won the first round, but Ronbeski's a savage, man. He moves up to 18-1. That's an actual guy we got to look out for.
And he's massive at lightweight. He looks like he weighs 180 pounds.
Yeah,
he's huge.
Yeah, he's so big. Him and Mariscal would be a fun-ass fight. I think he deserves something bigger than that, personally, with that record.
Too. And also for Mariscal, goddamn, that's tough.
Yeah, no, it definitely is tough. But But yeah, Ron Vesky, I mean, another non-bonus. I mean, Dana hates the prelim fighters.
I got it.
Not a single.
Slava clause.
So, yeah, you can do that. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that for sure. Man, I mean, Dana hates the prelim fighters. There's multiple fighters on the prelims that could have got a bonus. You could argue should have got a bonus.
I thought Rombeski definitely would. Like, his finish was electric. I was screaming at my television like, oh, he's lighting him up. Oh.
No, seriously. Yeah, 1,000%. And then, I mean, the Pete Marscal fight getting kind of hosed. But, yeah, man, no bonuses on the prelims. Absolute shame. Rombeski's, though, he's a guy. Like, I mean, like, I just respect 18-1 Polish guy. Like, I'm going to respect it. And
honestly, man, this card could have been an all finishes get bonuses card, and then a fight of the night still gets awarded, which I disagree with that. But, like, I think all finishes could have got bonuses here. I think all the finishes are that good.
We're electric. Yeah, they weren't just run-of-the-mill finishes for sure, man. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty fucked. I'm willing to shovel some coal into Rombeski. Like, I'm kind of a believer.
I like Rombeski. Now,
yeah,
what I don't like is this goddamn Tajikistan movement. Why'd they sign 8 Tajik fighters? I don't understand it. That Radzabov is Tajik as well. Like, what's this huge push? I don't understand their market value.
I mean, it's just gaining more fans from that side of the world.
I think there's places with bigger populaces in that part of the world. Is my point. Like they're just. I mean, if they're good enough for sure, and I think.
Well, and it's also. I mean, this happens in college football. I know for a fact. Like, I mean, hell, I was trying to get you on at OBU. Like guys like put in words to the people, try to get their boys on. I mean, that happens in college football. That happens, I think, even in the NFL. Like, oh, we should sign this guy, the high level. I mean, I think it happens in all sports. It definitely happens
in the UFC. I mean, look at Mo Usman getting on tough and like, because he definitely was too new to get to the UFC by any means. So they definitely told him like, get him a few fights. We'll get him on tough. Let's see what he does.
And I think there's like kind of like a caveman like mentality of like, oh, I mean, you see what we did with Dagestan. Let's just do that again.
That's my problem. That's what I'm saying.
Brazil was the first one. They would sign anybody with the last name, Silva for.
Speaking of which, well, that's not next, but
we do got a Brazilian though.
We do have a Brazilian. Yeah, beef Wellington Turman. But yeah, man, let's keep it pushing. I actually am very interested in this fight. I think 1 and 3 are kind of clear. I actually thought 2 could be argued. Could lawyer ball.
1 was the closest. I thought 1 was the hardest to score,
I thought 1
personally.
was definitely the closest. That's what I'm saying. I thought 2 could be lawyer balled.
Let's get to it, man. We got the 6'3" Randy Brown, minus 230. Taking on Wellington Turman, plus 195. I always forget how young Turman is. He just gives me like old guy fighter vibes, but he's only 26.
He gives me Glover Teixeira's son vibes. Like, is that Glover's son? Like his line?
My brain just always thinks Wellington Turman's old because he's had a lot of fights in the UFC. He's only 26 years old. Man, I got to say, this was the indifference bowl for me. Like, either one of these fighters do it for me. Randy Brown's been overhyped for a long time. I think he's finally coming back down to earth, as you can see by his card placement. So, and then Turman kind of never really had the juice. So, I don't know. To me, this was kind of like a nothing burger matchup. But at the same time, this is going to sound like the ultimate hater. Like, kind of glad we got a nothing burger matchup because they always give Brown these like kind of bigger names than he kind of deserves, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I understand why they made this matchup, and the fight ended up being halfway decent, but I don't know. I've been out on Randy Brown for a minute, and I was never in on Turman. I'm sorry, this just sounds like a hater right now, but
I've been super out on Randy Rude Boy Brown for a long time.
Yeah,
Wellington Turman is one of those guys that I want to like, but motherfucker, is he boring. He's getting better at that. But fuck,
exactly.
Is he boring.
No, for sure. I mean, even talk about boring, round 1, I gave it to Turman very close. I mean, the damage was really all from calf kicks, which is kind of a boring way to win a round. And yeah, I mean, he got eye poked, he got kneed in the nuts. I mean, it was a close round. I don't think Brown really did anything to like win it. I thought the calf kicks from Turman really was like the best like move of the fight.
So that's what I have in my notes is what did Randy Brown actually do in this round? Like I thought he was just like trying to make reads, trying to like almost give away a round. And so once my mentality was like locked in, I'm like, what's Randy Brown doing that's of any actual legal effect? Really not much. Like not much real damage, right? Like his fouls are damaging, but those are illegal strikes.
Yeah.
So
Can't score those.
And also 2 of them, like, goddamn, man. We just started the fight.
No, 1,000% agree. And then, I mean, we just got – and then, like I said, Terman won the round, but in kind of a snoozy way. Now, round 2, Brown wins the round, but kind of in a snoozy way. Clinch, knees to the thigh. I mean, he took the back at the very end of the round and did fuck all with it. So, I mean, once again, Randy Brown just – I mean, even when he's looking good, it's just, like, boring to watch. And it's just like, why do I want to watch this 6'3" guy, like, take someone's back? Like, I just – And oh, you're 6'3", yeah, let's clinch for a couple minutes. Like it's not like he was getting off bows on the break or even bringing the knees up high. They were literally knees to the thigh.
Funny enough, yeah, totally agree. So we have the rounds the same. Terman 1, Brown 2. You're talking about bows on the break. Round 3, all of a sudden, Wellington Terman decided to like wake up and decided he was down 2 rounds, which I didn't have it as that. So I was like, oh damn, he's trying to win the fight, right? Like not finish, win.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, round 3 was the only round that wasn't snoozing.
All the judges had him losing 1 and 2. I disagree. Like I said, I had 1 to Terman. I didn't think it was that hard to score necessarily.
I agree. I thought it was close, but I gave it to Terman like pretty confidently.
Right. So for me, I really liked what he did in 3. Like obviously he beat the fuck out of Randy Brown in 3. It's not even a question of who won round 3.
No, it was the most exciting round of the fight, the most damaging round of the fight. Brown's face was showing a lot of damage, for sure. So for Randy Brown to get unanimous decision victory here, ski mask and gun, bro. Ski mask and gun. Not as bad as Emmett, but pretty goddamn bad. Also, I mean, the fact that it was unanimous. If it was a split, I'd be like, eh.
Just look at both guys at the end of the fight. One is beat the fuck up. Like Randy Brown's face was fucked up. Terman looked fine.
No, I agree, man. I did not like. I said if it was a split decision, you can just chalk it up to some weird shit happens. But unanimous decision is really just makes me feel like were we watching? What were we watching? What were we scoring?
Yeah, what first round did you guys all watch?
For it to be unanimous, you know what I'm saying?
Now
this might be a UFC roster watch situation here too.
For old Terman. That sucks, man.
He's 3-5.
I think they give him 1 more based on like that fight being such bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope so.
Because like to put a beating on a guy in the last 5 minutes like that's Randy Brown, someone the UFC loves and considers to be like their boy. I think Dana probably was like, all right, like you put some work on him.
And then Randy Brown, now you can put this weird spin to keep giving him a push where, he's 5-1 in his last 6. And it's just
so dumb, man.
Yeah, like he pretty much lost this one. Jack Della Maddalena subbed him in the first. But then the wins aren't quality wins. Cowboy Oliveira, who was out of the UFC shortly after that one. Jared Gooden. Chaos Williams, extremely limited. Francisco Trinaldo, old and also no longer in the UFC. So now you can put this like spin of like, Randy Brown's on a real hot streak. The Maddalena fight was an outlier against the young lion. And I just don't see it that way, but maybe I'm a hater.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you're a hater at all. I just think the UFC like wants to push their narratives. And oftentimes I fully disagree with who they want to get behind. And in this case, like Randy Brown is one of those guys that like they're gonna do that too. It's like Manel Kopp. Like, even when they have bad streaks, like they're gonna then find good matchups and like push on.
But at least Manel Kopp has like a fun style and he's like an electric striker and has crazy power for the division.
Randy Brown's supposed to be electric.
So snoozy. So snoozy. But yeah, we'll keep it pushing.
Yeah, let's push to this main event. Featured prelim.
Featured prelim. Yeah. But I mean, hell of a featured prelim. I mean, we got Neil Magny, ranked 11. Stalwart of the division. I always hated that word.
By the way, can I give you a fun fact about this fight? There's not one round where all 3 judges score it the same.
Ooh, well, I do have the word close to my notes for all three
All
rounds.
three,
This
me
one was hard to
too.
score.
This is a fight
This
where
one
I
was hard to
literally was
score.
like, however you score it, what the fuck ever. Like this fight is
Me too.
crazy close.
As I was waiting for the decision, I said out loud physically, I was like, "There's no robbery here.
Like
Like
it literally
whoever it goes
cannot
to."
be. Like cannot
Yeah,
be.
1,000% agree. Yeah, but taking on Phil Rowe, both these men 6'3". Rowe is a plus 145 dog. Magny minus 170. I was pretty bullish on Magny all week. We put him on our parlay, and I was dying to search for Magny by sub. It was like plus 1,000, which to me, I mean, it doesn't hit. I'll get that out of the way, which I'll send you that 5, Michael. My bad, but plus 10. It was like plus 1050 for Magny by sub, which I loved. I still love. No regrets. But I thought Magny had a larger advantage than he did. Phil Rowe showed me a lot in this matchup. We'll see how the split decision ends up going, but I don't know. Or do you think Magny just laid an egg? Because I thought Magny was going to like outclass him, and he did not. And however you scored it, he did not outclass him. I thought there was a margin there between Magny and Rowe, and I was kind of wrong.
You know what's so weird is that like I think you're I think you're right. I think Phil Rowe's a much better grappler than what we're saying or what we thought. Than what we thought, not what we're saying. However, I would also say I think Magny is still good enough to get him out with a sub. I just don't think he was pressing for subs that hard. I don't even think he was pressing for takedowns that hard.
I don't think he performed all that well, just broad stroke. Like
right,
I don't think
it
was
wasn't
his
a
best
real
night.
Magny style fight. Kind of it was. There were times he'd find himself in the tie clinch, throwing knees to the body. Like that's real Neil Magny moves. Like we know what he does. And Phil Rowe said that. Like there's so much tape on him. How can I not be ready? Well, he wasn't that ready, in my opinion. Like I thought Magny actually executed his game plan much better than Phil Rowe.
Well, let's dive in here. I mean, how did you score round one?
So one, I scored into Magny. I did even put like that might even be controversial because like could be crazy.
I scored it to Magny too, man. I did. I mean, granted, the reason why it might be because most of the round was like snoozy clinch, and I was kind of like coin flip, like fuck. I was like, I have to like score this. Like I don't like what score what. But then at the very end of the round, Magny got a little damage off. I was like, all right, at least I have like something to score. So like it was close. It was snoozy. We both gave it to Magny. I think. How did the judges score it?
So one judge scores it with us, Barry Luxembourg, and Sal D'Amato and Christopher Lee score it for Phil Rowe.
Don't love it, but also like it was snoozy as fuck. So I'm not gonna die on a hill.
So close. Like, all right, Now round two, sure. Phil Rowe gets on Magny's back, but really isn't doing shit with it and is probably wearing himself out more than Magny.
Yeah. Phil Rowe had like the standing back take, the backpack. But these are bigger guys, and he's a huge welterweight, so it's a lot more weight to carry than like bantamweights you usually see doing this type of shit. And he's not really threatening subs. He's not really able to like get him to the ground. I mean, he's definitely winning the position, but he's not really winning any damage. And then at the very end of the round, once again, Magny gets some clinch strikes off and some clinch control, and it's like I gave it to Magny. Magny definitely won the damage battle. Phil Rowe definitely won the control battle. Winning the end of the round is kind of like a weighted grade in a way in a lot of people's eyes. I don't feel like uber confident or bullish, but I gave it to Magny because he like did a little damage at the end of the round once again.
I did too. I scored to Magny again. I said pretty much Rowe doesn't do a whole lot with that control. He put Magny in a position where Magny couldn't do anything, but Rowe did nothing at the same time.
No.
And I'll also say, like, who's getting more tired? Rowe is getting more tired from having to hold that position, so that's why he got off. And then, like you said, Magny got the damage at the end of the round. I liked it for Magny. I had him up 20-18, and I even put in my notes, I think Vegas disagrees with me.
Yeah, maybe. And then round three, once again, another close, kind of murky, kind of,
oh, wait.
Gives a shit round.
Let me tell you this. One judge agrees with us to this point. Barry Luxembourg, 2 rounds to Magny.
Again? Mm-hmm. So we're lockstep with Luxembourg so far.
Mm-hmm. Sal D'Amato has 1 to Rowe, 2 to Magny. The Christopher Lee has 1 and 2 to Rowe. They're all different.
I like 2 to row more than I like 1 to row, personally.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I heard it backwards in my head. I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh, 2 to row." Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you say gun to my head, I have to either give 2 to row or 1 to row. I'd rather give 2 to row.
Yeah. So
Now
Sal
that being
Diamato
said,
scoring at 1 to row, 2 to Magny's. Like, damn, bro. All right.
now granted, the fight sucked up to this point, so that's what we got to keep in mind here. It was, I mean, kind of like Rose as far as like, is anybody really winning or losing these rounds? You know what I mean?
Right.
Now and then round 3, once again close, but I actually liked Phil Rowe's work in 3. I thought he got way more aggressive, way more activity. He actually pressured Magny, but pressured him with striking, not like weird snoozy clinch. And I don't know. I just liked Phil Rowe's work. I thought Phil Rowe, I mean, maybe a little bit strong, but if anybody went for it in this whole fight, in this whole 15 minutes, it was Rowe in 3.
Yeah, so I thought Magny worked for the same positions he's always in and was not able to get to them as easily in round 3 because Rowe wasn't accepting them and was fighting like he had to win the fight in round 3. Magny was fighting like he was ahead, which is super dangerous because on both of our cards we noted how close those rounds were. So I thought Magny
1,000%.
wasn't like trying to push the pace, whereas Rowe was. Honestly, I rewarded that, and I thought he was rewarded for that in the fight. Like, I thought he got his most damage done to Magny in round 3 out of all the rounds. Neither guy did much. It was very snoozy. Yeah, I scored round 3 to Rowe. So did Barry Luxembourg. And then neither Sal Diamato or Christopher Lee scored round 3 to Rowe. They both scored to Magny.
Yeah, man. So Magny ends up getting the split decision, which I think the right man won. But I mean,
we scored it the exact same as one of the judges, but as each other as well. I think that says a lot when rounds are this close.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do too. Man, you don't want to reward Magny too much because it wasn't that great of a performance, but he did fight an unranked guy. I think you got to give him a ranked guy next.
And at number 11, I mean, like that's crazy. You have to fight unranked when you're 11. Like usually that means you're kind of safe in your spot.
Well, and then so Luque's sitting ahead of him. They've never fought. They've actually been booked, and the fight got canceled. I think you got to do Luque because Brady's booked, Neil's booked. You could do Wonder Boy, but I think there's more better stuff you could do with Wonder Boy.
Wonder Boy fights July 2nd against Michel Pereira.
Well, I forgot he was booked. All right, so yeah, Brady, Neil, and Thompson are booked. So yeah, you got to do Luque. They've had a canceled bout. It gets him in the top 10. So
well, let's hold up a second.
What?
If Wonder Boy loses to Pereira, Magny Pereira.
Honestly, this is going to sound disrespectful. I think that's like putting more effort into that matchmaking than Magny's performance deserved. I think the Luque, you can't say it's a slight. You're fighting up. It's a chance to get back in the top 10. Like, you can't say it's, like, disrespectful. Luque hasn't fought in a hot minute. He needs to fight. Like, I don't hate – like, what you're saying, I'm not saying it, like, doesn't make sense or you can't do it. But, like, that Magny's uninspired performance, like, you really want to, like, go through all these hoops and really play chess.
Gary and Luque fight, though?
You could. I think you put the effort into Gary's matchmaking that you're talking about. Like, I think you can play chess with Gary's matchmaking.
But I'm saying Gary called for a top 10 shot. Luque's a striker. Gary's a better striker. I think you save Luque for Gary because he has such good name value. I
think if Jeff Neal loses to
Rachmanov,
that's who he's...
Fuck. Jeff Neal is... Wait, Neal's not fighting Rachmanov, is he? What?
Rachmanov's fighting somebody soon. Here, let me... Where's he at? Shavkat. Oh, no. Shavkat's going to fight... He already fought Jeff Neal. I'm tripping.
Yeah,
I'm
he beat the shit out of him. Finished him, right?
Shavkat's going to fight Gastelum. That's what the rumor is. Yeah, that's the rumor. Gastelum's going to come down and fight Shavkat.
No.
Yeah, that's what they both agreed on Twitter. They've been kind of promoting it already.
It's fucking so dumb. Get this guy to the challenger spot. Fuck.
I'm kind of here for it. No, so that's what it is. Gary Jeff Neal's fighting Gary.
Oh,
Gary.
okay. That's a fun matchup. Yeah, okay.
You do Neil
Okay.
Luca, or you do Magny Luca. You got to.
Who's Maddalena fighting? Della Maddalena.
Let's see if
backwards.
Let's see if it's announced. Let's see if it's announced. You saying give Magny another lion?
Yeah, fuck Magny. He's done. He's old.
So that, but see, I think I feel the same way about Luque as you feel about Magny. Like that's why I think you just give them each other. Like I don't know. Like,
No, you can't burn their name value out on each other. Hell no. You have to feed them to the lions so the lions get to eat.
Della. Well, guess what's happening? Exactly what you just said. Sean Brady's fighting Jack Della. So that's two young lions.
Oh fuck, that's terrible.
Cannibalizing each other.
Well, but that's fine because that's one of them's gonna be number 9. So one's gonna keep going up.
But you got to do Magny Luque, dog. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. Just say, yeah, you're right, D-Mac. You got to do Magny Luque.
All right, Magny Luque, sign me up. It honestly makes a pay-per-view. It opens the pay-per-view easy. So
yeah, that's a good fight.
Like
it's
an easy. It's one of those easy card fillers for UFC. Like whatever pay-per-view we want it, we'll just fill it right there. Really easy.
Yeah, for sure. Guys you've heard of, ranked guys, for sure. But yeah, that wraps up the prelim segment. There was 8 fucking fights, so forgive us if we ran a little long, but
hour
take a short
16
break.
minutes, not bad.
Not bad little pace. We pushing the pace like Colby Covington, but we'll be right back with this main card. You know, like and subscribe, support the channel. We never miss a card. 135 in a fucking row, and
Yes,
we'll be back with this.